you have to be ready to accept it. So Evan came into my life at a perfect time. I was already working a part-time job. I was a director of admission. I was studying law. I was doing something else at that time, I don't remember, but he came into my life and we sat down and I spent a few months looking into, because I had no idea what I was doing, right? I looked into how to register a nonprofit. It took me about 2.5 months of my life, every evening staying at the college campus. Again, I'm thankful for the college because they never dictated when I come, when I leave. If you're not in a capacity, you cannot love anybody, you cannot care for anybody. You can have opportunities come in your life, you can have the greatest love come in your life, you can have the greatest, but if you're not ready to receive, whether it's love, whether it's opportunity, whether it's something, you're not gonna be able to accept it fully. So work on yourself, prepare yourself, because there's a lot of times I've seen a lot of people pass up on the greatest things in their life, whether it's business, whether it's mentorship, whether it's coaching, whether it's partnership, whether it's love, whether it's whatever, because you're not ready to accept it. I came when the sun was rising. I looked up a binder and I basically gave Evan the resources. They were students at the college, I had enrolled them. And they both looked at me with puppy eyes, you know. Would you like me to do this for you? Would you? I remember Evan like this, I remember this, which is weird from a white guy coming, because as a Middle Eastern, as brown, we understand what this means. It's a respect thing. Ansari is a weird name because Ansari is from the Italian heritage. Ansari is an old Kurdish name. Which later has gone into Iran, Iraq, Azerbaijan. It's also gone into a lot of Middle Eastern, Afghanistan, India, but the Arabic pronunciation is Ansari. So anyway, I started the process in July of registering a nonprofit. I wasn't very fond of the name, but
it was
Heart Tattoo Society.
Right.
Evan has a lot of tattoos. Mackenzie has a lot of tattoos. They both have hearts. Evan has a heart here. Mackenzie has it on a finger that I'd rather not point right now. Or maybe it's on a different finger. No, I think it's on that finger. So Heart Tattoo Society. After, going through so much red tape and filling out so much paperwork, going through a personal background check, going through a personal credit check, going through an income check, going through so much, that Heart Tattoo Society was registered November 2021. And I remember there was a section that I left blank which asked me if I was a permanent resident or a Canadian citizenship, because I was neither. And somebody was very kind enough to overlook it at that time. Otherwise, I think, because she realized my story, she realized I was a refugee trying to do something good for them. And I had no intention of doing Heart Tattoo, because remember, that was a 15-year vision.
You were doing it for them.
I was doing it for other people. I had thought about a nonprofit, but everybody told me 15 years it wasn't going to happen, right?
Right.
So here I am sitting, the 15-year process, I'm sitting 1.5 years. I already got a degree, a diploma. I'm going for my second diploma. I'm already director of admission of Vancouver Career College. I'm already in the procedure of thinking about registering my company, which I put on hold, and I register Heart Tattoo. So
Roman Ansari.
Roman Ansari. Ansari. And Ansar, A-N-S-A-R, are the original immigrants during Muslims. I'm going to touch on religion, which is something I don't like to talk about, religion and politics. Okay. But prophet, the Muslim people have a prophet called Prophet Muhammad. They say peace be upon him every time they say that word. My family's partially Muslim, so I'll say that. Don't believe in religion. When they used to live in a town called Makkah and Medina, and there was a time when they were pushed out of the country, and the Ansars were the immigrants that went to a different country and started life. So Ansar is a very old word comes in. My grandfather was originally from a small town who had a Buddhist teacher,
Wow.
And there was only a handful of people that have the teachings that my grandfather has, which in this world does not exist. Does not exist. My grandfather was my mentor, and his obituary is on my Facebook.
Okay.
In October 2018, I will reshare it. It's going to show up on my timeline. He died in October 2018 at the age of 109 years old.
109.
Yep. His obituary is on my Facebook. So anyway, we registered Heart Tattoo Society. That was never something I was going to be able to do a year and a half into my 15-year vision. So 15-year vision, a year and a half, I'm sitting where I got a diploma. I got a job where I'm changing lives already. I think to this day, probably there's about 8,000 people that I came in contact with in a year and a half that I was in college. If you Google pretty much all the reviews of Vancouver Career College downtown, pretty much all of them were about me.
Wow.
So a lot of lives change, a lot of things change. Heart Tattoo started serving 15,000 meals a month. Last year, and all through food recovery. Again, I give the credit to the kids. I call them kids, my little brother and sister. I don't believe in the word friends. I never have. I probably never will. And there's certain things I am very adamant about. I believe that a woman and a man can be friends. But if your relationship started sexual, if you are intimate, I don't believe somebody can be friends. Because there's always that factor about intimacy. Like my first love, my wife, ex-wife, is not friends with me. She's my ex-wife. I believe in very hardcore relationship. I personally don't think that after you have slept, a guy and a girl have slept together, they can be friends. Because there's always that attraction. There's always that thing that always comes into friend. From a guy's point of view, majority of the men, when they're looking at a female, you're not their friend. They're always thinking something else. But Evan and Mackenzie, my brother and sisters, I give them probably 99% of the credits. I know they give me credits because all the finance, all the legal, all the compliance, all the stuff, paperwork I do. But last year we recovered 500,000 pounds of food. This year, I believe it's pounds. kg is heavier, right? Pounds lighter. Yeah.
I heard this year on track for 1 million.
Oh, yep, over 1 million. But through Heart Tattoo Society, we are able to giving away tons of groceries to people. There's a huge Ukrainian community because my ex-wife being Ukrainian and me sponsoring her family or helping their family out, I connected huge with the Ukrainian family. There's tons of volunteers there. We were able to start, not Heart Tattoo, I was able to start a class of 800 people to Syrian refugees. That's all the way based out in Hope, close to Chilliwack, that I personally funded. So I'm happy with that. You know, when Anna came into my life, I wanted to start a Ukrainian refugee class. I actually was going to write a grant out for that entire thing, but that didn't go except for the class that she wanted to, which I'm happy. She changed, I think, 35 lives. I'm really happy for her.
38.
38.
Instrumental in changing a lot of lives.
I've been a vessel for a lot of people. I don't know if I've changed lives. I think I'm just a vessel where we can't change anybody's life, Denny. We cannot change anybody's life unless
you experienced things on the other side of the coin when you came to Canada, including getting a sandwich and some water at the corner of Hastings and whatever.
Right across the church.
And you felt, there's got to be a better way. There was some seed that was planted in you. At that time, you had no idea that when you went to Yellowknife, you would write a plan. Part of that would then come into where you were in a school. You meet these two that during COVID are trying to help a few people drive their mother's van to feed some people. And there's the beginnings, the nucleus of a not-for-profit that today is the number one, I think.
We pretty much are the top food recovery place. Like, we have the largest amount of food coming in. we are the largest. I mean, we're feeding the largest amount of people consistently.
And we have
The
videos.
most quality food.
We have videos on everything that's related to Roman Ansari.